She's a chameleon in heels, a queen on the screen, flipping through lives like pages in a dream. From kitchens to courts, she's been them all. Meryl, you're the curtain call. She's got range, she's got fire, every role takes her higher. Oh, Meryl, 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 how do you do it? Slip into souls like you're born to prove it. Meryl, Meryl, you're the silver streak, stealing every scene week after week. She can cry in the rain, she can laugh in the pain, accents rolling off like a runaway train. A mother, a witch, a warrior, a muse. Is there a life you wouldn't choose? She's got charm, she's got flair, every moment's beyond compare. Oh, Meryl, 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 how do you do it? Slip into souls like you're born to prove it. Meryl, Meryl, you're the silver streak, stealing every scene week after week.
Hello and welcome back to A Take on the Academy. I'm your host, Matthew Sprosty, and on today's show, we are visiting for the fifth time, yes, the fifth time, Meryl Streep's illustrious list of nominations. We have previously taken away 4, her 3rd nomination for The French Lieutenant's Woman, her 6th one for Out of Africa, her 9th one for Postcards from the Edge, and her 10th one for Bridges of Madison County. To come to this episode, we are skipping over her 11th nomination for One True Thing. In One True Thing, Streep plays Kate Gilden, a vibrant, deeply maternal woman who's slowly dying of cancer. It's a deceptively quiet performance, no big courtroom Kramer v. Kramer speeches or grand Sophia's Choice transformations, but she embodies the role with such humanity and specificity that she vanishes into it. Kate feels like a real person. She isn't a caricature of a dying mother. She's a whole woman with warmth, flaws, pride, and vulnerability. Streep is known for her technical prowess, accents, physicality, timing, but One True Thing is a masterclass in emotional intuition. She calibrates her character's decline so gently that it sneaks up on you. It's the kind of performance where you feel her slipping away before she even says it out loud. She gives you the heartbreak between the lines. And this isn't a showy Meryl role, which is exactly why I'm okay with its nomination. She doesn't dominate the film, she elevates it. She lifts up Renee Zellweger's character and anchors the emotional arc of the film, all while resisting melodrama. She makes you love Kate without ever begging for your sympathy. And in 1998, the Best Actress race was stacked. There was Shakespeare in Love, Elizabeth, Central Station, Hillary and Jackie, and One True Thing. But in hindsight, Streep's performance has aged better than some of those others. It resonates deeply with anyone who's watched a parent fade, and it remains one of her most emotionally accessible roles. So yes, One True Thing is the performance that should have secured her that late 90s nomination. And so we come to her final 90s performance with Music of the Heart, her 12th nomination. And this one, like French Lieutenant's Woman and Postcards from the Edge, just feels like, well, I don't know what. I don't know how to say it. And thankfully, I don't have to say it alone. Today, I'm joined by 2 brilliant first-time guests, the voices behind the Fade to Black podcast, which explores the past, present, and future of African Americans in film, Sunflower B. Rose and Imani Johnson. These 2 are fierce, funny, and fearless when it comes to talking film, and I could not be more excited to have them here. Sunflower, Imani, welcome to A Take on the Academy.
Woo!
Yeah, super excited to be here.
Super excited.
Were either of you nervous about coming on just to tear into a street performance? Like, I was like, hey, might as well start out swinging hard.
You know, I have thoughts. I was like, I can't say I was too nervous. But I'm like, oh, yes.
I was a little bit, just in terms of like how to narrow it down to the performances that we even talked about. Because I'm like, 1999 does not necessarily feel like the year that I was like so tuned in.
Yeah.
But also this does feel like a list of films that I needed to see. So I'm glad that I got them off my list.
Yes, I agree.
While we're talking about, like, most of the listeners know that there's a lot of homework that comes to coming onto this show. We usually say, like, here's a mighty big list for you. And with this, This episode was no different. There's A list and then there's D list. A list goes through everything that kind of was either nominated for an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, Independent Spirit Awards. I like to look at the Saturn Awards because that's sci-fi and horror, which the Academy does not look at. I still appreciate the MTV Movie Awards sometimes the Kids' Choice,
Yes.
producers, directors, SAG, Screenwriters Guild, whoever is nominating something, we kind of look at. And that creates, how many did we have on this list? Probably about 20 movies that was like, here's some things that could be out there. And you don't have to watch them all, but it's kind of like everybody's going to come. I give everybody max 5. And then we kind of start talking a little bit. And it's like some stick out in your mind, which we'll talk about in this episode. And some of them you're like, never even heard of it. And so it's usually like 1 or 2 of the Academy Award nominations that I'm like, what was even that film?
Yeah.
So out of the list of the ones that we're not talking about today, none of the ones that we starred, which is Julia Roberts, Notting Hill, Sigourney Weaver, A Map of the World, Julianne Moore for An Ideal Husband, Sharon Stone, The Muse, Michelle Pfeiffer, The Story of Us, Elizabeth Shue for Molly, Mia Jovovich for The Messenger, Reese Witherspoon for Election, Emily Watson for Angela's Ashes, and Linda Bassett from East is East. Is there anything from that list where you're like, I got one note? You know, like I have a note or so.
You know, I recently watched Notting Hill for the first time, and I was like, oh, okay, Julia, this is cute. This is cute. Like, but I mean, she's a rom-com queen, so it's like, it was also expected, but there was, I don't know, there was something about her in that movie where I'm like, that final scene when she's like in the bookstore, I'm just a girl. I was like, oh, why am I tearing up with you? But that was a great one.
I thought it was going to be on my list, but there's something. One, I have a Julia Roberts episode this season. I know somebody that's gunning for Erin Brockovich, her role in that one. So
Okay.
I was like, all right, well, talk to me about it. So listener, beware for that one. But there's also a lot of people in my circle that don't like Julia Roberts. And they can't necessarily explain why. I don't know if it's like the vibe or...
I love her vibe.
I like her. I mean, Pretty Woman is one of my favorite films. Like, it's in my
Yes.
top 10, I think, of all time. But I don't understand the Julia Roberts hate.
Me either.
She seems wonderful to me. I like Reese Witherspoon, also another one.
Yes.
The Election came up as like just like a funny trailer that I'm like, I should definitely come back to this one.
It is good. It's one of those ones that I don't know if the range was there, like if she was giving us everything, because she was playing a lot of the times too. I'm always wondering about these actresses that are like 20, 25 years old playing like 16 and
Teenagers.
18 year olds. Yeah. And it's kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. And then I don't know, I guess on that point, like how to grade it, right? Like how to judge it. I really wanted to like Mila Jovovich as The Messenger because I love the story of Joan of Arc. I like the thought that this 14-year-old woman or girl was getting messages from God and led the French army against the,
Pretty
but-
badass.
yeah. But like the whole history of the movie was the director, Luc Besson, shoehorned her in after ushering out the lead that was previously casted. And so everything about it was kind of like here's the woman I love, like everybody love her and I'm going to make a movie for her. And it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And I was like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then Elizabeth Shue, who I love, played a person with autism in Molly.
Okay.
And the 90s were a different time, man, when it came to that. And it was, I probably watched 20 minutes of that. I was like, I can't do this. I'm not going to like her anymore. Like, she was my Adventures in Babysitting crush.
Yes.
And Molly was going to ruin that for me. So, any others?
No. I was like, no, I agree. I'm like, 1999 does not stand out in the year of movies for me. Like, even looking at the list of movies that came out in 1999, I was like, oh, I don't know a lot of these.
When did you start watching movies? Would you say like you were like this? My movie career is here.
Probably when I was like 11, 12.
I was going to say somewhere around elementary school. I'm thinking about like being in YMCA and they just give us like movies to watch constantly. But that's giving like 2001 to 3-ish range is where I think like consciousness is really clocking in here.
Okay, yeah, I'm like 2008, 9, around there. I'm like, I can get down with film.
To be fair, I was born in 97, so I'm like, yeah, 99.
96 over here. I'm like, yeah.
I think about like what's the Disney movie that came out at this time. I'm pretty sure 99 is like Toy Story, so I'm like, that was great. Love Toy Story.
Toy Story 2, Bugs Life.
Bugs Life was also around.
Yeah,
Pixar
so that's
was taken
where
off.
I'm at. Yeah.
Shrek.
Ooh.
Yes,
Shrek.
hands down.
Hands down. Shrek.
One
Yeah.
for the culture. Also, big fan of Shrek the musical over here.
Disagree. I'm like, no.
I was in it, so it's a personal favorite of mine.
Who were you in it?
I was Donkey.
Nice. Killer. All right. So what's your opinion of Meryl Streep? Do you have a favorite performance of her?
I like Meryl Streep in Doubt. I like Meryl Streep in Mamma Mia.
Being very specific. Do you like Meryl Streep?
I do.
Okay. I didn't know if you're like, I like her in parts.
No. I do. I think she's a phenomenal actress. Like, I'm like, I know Meryl Streep is in it. Like, I'm going to have no qualms with her performance. You know, will I be amazed? Wow. That's up for debate, but I'm not going to be like, oh, that was horrible, girl. Like, it's always going to be great. I'm like, that's a thespian right there. I know she's going to give it her all.
Same. I feel like it's funny because looking at the Meryl Streep list, I'm like, Into the Woods and Mamma Mia are some of my top 2 favorite Meryl Streep performances. But it's because she is like an actor, you know, like she's performing for the back of the house, and I appreciate that. And so sometimes I think like she gets put in roles where like her presence is just supposed to take over, like and that is that. But I'm like, Devil Wears Prada, maybe
Devil Wears
might be the
Prada.
top one. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Miranda
go after
Priestley
that
is
one.
killing me. It's killing me with the look. I'm like, oh my gosh, I failed.
I'm like, this woman could rip my soul out with just her words.
Just her words. A look. A flip of her hair.
I do have a question then, because I was looking at because this whole thing is like, I'm going to go through every one of her nominations. And with The Devil Wears Prada, I was like, I don't think anybody would be on board if I went after that, except for the fact it was a nomination for Best Actress and not Best Supporting Actress.
Well,
do you think the audience would be slightly forgiving if I was like, I think she was a supporting actress and she probably robbed somebody from a Best Actress nomination for that year?
I don't think she was a supporting actress. I think she was, like, I know it's supposed to be Anne Hathaway's character, but I'm like, no, this is the Miranda Priestley show, and we're all just living it.
I agree with that. I think you can make an argument that she should be supporting, but she's not.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear you argue it.
Oh, well, who knows? I mean, right now I'm nervous to do it, so.
Should we all do something that scares us just a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Talking in public scares me, so we're already there. But while we're talking about roles that she might not have deserved the nomination for, I brought you guys on today to talk about 1999's nomination, The Elephant in the Room, or The Legend in the Room, Meryl Streep's performance in Music of the Heart. And I was like, I think based off what I read, I'm not going to like this performance. And then I watched the movie and I was like, oh, holy shit. I don't know if I came to it with conclusions already in my mind, but I was like, I don't think this is a nomination worthy performance, but you never know. So then I was like, well, let me give it over to you guys and see if you agree with it. And even based off my description, I think I said it was Dangerous Minds with violins. And you guys were like, oh my gosh. And so what was your opinion on Music of the Heart, or Music from the Heart?
I'm like, Imani watched it before I did. So the other description I got was like Lean on Me, but with violins. And so, yeah, I'm like, it's a journey with a teacher and her students, understanding like their relationship dynamics. But on a plot standpoint, I just didn't necessarily feel like there was enough to like bring me through. And so like, does Meryl Streep have enough to like really give an award-winning performance? I don't know. But I thought it was enjoyable. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like, again, like, you know, like I said, Meryl Streep, I know she can act. So I'm not going to look at this like, oh, girl, this is a miss. But I was not amazed. I was not wowed. I was just like, oh, yeah. Yeah. It was very like also Freedom Writers with like Hilary Swank was also very much in that lane, but with violence. And yeah, I was just like, okay.
Why do you think Hollywood like gravitates toward these movies of like
White saviors?
white saviors, but also in the classroom? We all have favorite teachers, right? We all have people that we look back and go like, this person was my favorite teacher. I can't necessarily, I mean, I do have one teacher that I would say like kind of set me on a path, but I don't think I hear a lot of stories of like, this teacher saved an entire classroom.
Yeah, no, I don't ever hear that. And I do think it's because it's like, we all know what well, for the most part, most of us know what it feels like to be a student. We know what it feels like to be in a classroom. A lot of people know what it feels like to go to a public school. So I think it's easier to connect with your audience in that type of way. But I don't know. People feel good when they feel like the children are safe at the end. It's like, oh yes, the show will go on.
It does feel like a lot of these teachers start off, though, by, like, insulting children and being like, actually, I have to be mean to you first before you realize that I care. And I think that's the part that grinds my gears. Because you're right. What about the student's perspective? I don't think we see too many student-led stories of, like, and this teacher changed our lives. It is very much the teacher coming in and saying, this is my experience and how I think I transformed this world through this one classroom. So I am curious if it is more about the agency of like a person to make change in the individual's lives. And like, maybe that's the thing we're supposed to be latching on to. And also just like kids should behave. Maybe if kids did get this tough love, then like just try to reinforce a way of child wrangling. Maybe, but I don't know.
And I guess being that change in the world is like supposed to hit our heart in that way of like any one of us can be that teacher that's going to change the system, change it all. I think they're just really like playing with that. The fact that it could be anybody, even people who did not set out to be teachers, did not think that they would be here, that fish out of water, type story. I think it's just easier to connect with the students, connect with the teacher in that way. And I feel like maybe it's harder to connect with the students if you aren't necessarily like, if you weren't a kid going to a underfunded school in Harlem, maybe you're not going to really care about the student in that way. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's always these teacher saves the day.
Yeah, I was trying to, as you guys were talking, I was like, what is it from a student perspective? And other than Boy Meets World, I couldn't like come up with anything.
I went like Nuts Declassified or even like the Peanuts, but I'm like, but then they just drone out the adults. They become caricatures.
Because even like a movie like Half Nelson was mainly from Ryan Gosling's point of view. And that one would have been great from a girl who is her only like maybe good mentor is a heroin addict.
Yeah. That would be way more interesting. I would like to see that.
I feel like RuPaul low-key has like a movie like this. It's just like a mentorship movie. It's like AJ and the drag queen.
Yes, there is. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, RuPaul does have it. I think it is like AJ and the drag queen or AJ and the queen or something like that.
Yeah, but essentially it's just like small child has adopted this new mentor and is like, I'm coming with you. I'm going to learn with you and we will protect each other. And they go on this whole road trip that Ru didn't intend for them to go on, but they do.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, that is an adult to child relationship that worked out from a child's perspective, realistically.
Yeah.
That's what we got, huh? Okay, if we're going to take it away from Meryl, like I don't want to be like completely negative, so I wrote up a little bit to make it so if Meryl does ever listen to the show, she's like, oh, okay.
Oh, I love you, girl. Yeah.
Yeah, Meryl, you're great.
Yes.
In 1999, they were not writing roles for women, is what I learned.
Yes, it was not you.
Yes, the thing, and it made me feel better because she was on Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel was like, we're going to play a game. I'm going to give you 1 minute and name all of the nominations that you have. And she like named 2 because I don't think I don't think Meryl Streep is sitting there counting, on her fingers and toes all 21 of her nominations.
I'm sure after 5, she was like, I'm going to just let it go. I'm just,
yeah.
I could see her because she's 1 win shy of tying Katharine Hepburn. I could see her being like, man, I want that one. But even so, she had stopped doing movies and now she's on like Only Murders in the Building.
Yes.
So I think she's just kind of having fun with her friends, Steve Martin and Martin Short, and she just.
Yeah, her man.
Yeah, she doesn't need. Oh, yeah, they are together, aren't they?
They are. They're so cute.
Fun fact.
Yes.
Hopefully still fun when this episode comes out. All right. I don't think Meryl Streep has turned in a bad performance ever. Death Becomes Her is becoming a Broadway musical. I'm super excited for that, to revisit that character that she made infamous. So it's not that she was bad in this movie. It's just that she wasn't at her best. And before we pull the plug on Meryl's 1999 nomination, let's acknowledge that she's not just a great actress. She is the actress, a kind of gold standard. But why is she so revered? It's not just about the Oscars, though the 21 nominations and 3 wins certainly help. It's about the consistency that she brings. It's the range. It's her discipline. She disappears into roles. She nails accents like she was born speaking every language. She could do tragedy, comedy, musicals, and everything in between, and she makes it all look effortless. She's also smart about the work she chooses, or at least she used to be. Her best roles are layered, emotionally complex, often politically or socially relevant. And even when the material doesn't rise to the occasion, she usually does. She brings a sense of weight, of legitimacy, just by showing up. And that's not hype. That's earned. And off screen, Meryl Streep is poised, thoughtful. She doesn't chase the spotlight, but when she speaks, people listen. She carries herself like someone who respects the art and the audience equally. And we reward that with reverence. But here's the thing about reverence. It can become reflex. It stops being about the performance and starts being about the name. And when that happens, we have to ask, is the work still excellent, or are we just checking a box because it's Meryl? That's the conversation we're having today, not out of disrespect, but out of respect for the dozens of women who gave us something riskier or stranger or fiercer in the same year. Meryl's playing the game, but she didn't design the board. Now, let's be clear. This isn't really Meryl's fault. She didn't nominate herself. She didn't call up the Academy and say, hey, I learned the violin. Hand me a statue. Meryl did what Meryl does. What she always does. She took the job seriously, showed up prepared, and gave a technically sound performance. That's her baseline. That's not the issue. The issue is the system that surrounds her, the reverence that becomes reflex, the automatic penciling in of her name even when the performance is merely good. I mean, it's great. It's lazy nominating. It's what happens when voters don't actually watch all the contenders, when they default to familiarity, when they treat the Oscars like a brand campaign instead of an evaluation of the year's best. And with someone like Meryl, who is without question one of the greatest to ever do it, it becomes even trickier, because how do you separate a legend's reputation from her actual performance in a given film? And that's what we're trying to do today. We're not blaming Meryl, but we are holding the Academy accountable for what they missed, overlooked, or outright ignored in 1999, because that year they gave the slot to a name and left a lot of performances behind. So with that said, and hopefully with Meryl understanding what we're doing, let's talk about some of the ones that we're coming here today to discuss. Out of the list of what we did pick to talk about, does anybody want to start with one?
I would love to take Sigourney Weaver and just talk about her and get her out the way. Because I will say I was excited to watch this one because I love space, love sci-fi, love comedy. And I'm like, comedies don't get nominated enough. Let's talk about a comedic performance. But this is also where I feel like just the writing was failing for Sigourney Weaver in general. And again, for most of these, what I am like, where's the leading lady? Yeah, she just felt like a character that was falling so far into the background. And so I'm just like, I'm glad to bring her up here, but I also just want to leave her here.
I think a lot of our audience is going to be like, yes, Galaxy Quest is revered. I'm going to stop saying the word revered in this episode, but it is. And it took me 3 tries to get through it. I had to watch it twice for a different episode, and I was like, oh, it's great. I don't like Star Trek, type of thing. And then I put it on as I was on the treadmill. I was like, you're watching it this time. And I really got it at that point. I understood exactly why people really enjoy it. It's complicated. It is a comedy, but in the same instance, there are parts to it that just break your heart. And I think Sigourney Weaver, I like what she's doing in it. I like everything that she's doing. She's a sci-fi sex symbol who's mainly just there to repeat what the computer says. She turns her character into something smart and clever and funny and complex and a feminist. But in the same instance, there's a lot more going on in that movie, and you do have a lead actor in that movie that probably doesn't share the spotlight very well, like toys on a playground. So
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I feel like Sigourney was trying her best with what she was given. But she wasn't given a lot. And I would have like to see her more, you know.
What do you think her best role is?
Holes. That's what came to mind first, but I'm gonna stand by it.
I don't hate it. You know, like most people would say Ellen Ripley, right?
Yeah,
From
that was
Alien.
where I was gonna go next, but I was like,
I liked how you did it. I like how you colored outside the lines.
I'm tired, Grandpa. You know, I'm like, no,
too damn bad.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that. She was a complicated woman in that movie.
Sunflower?
I don't know if I have one, to be honest with you. Like, when I look at the full list, I'm like, she feels like a face that feels like really familiar and fun to me, but is there like one role that's standing out? No.
I'll have to revisit Gorillas in the Mist. I remember that breaking my heart, but that might just because I don't like violence against animals as well.
Yeah.
Especially gorillas or primates of any kind. R.I.P. Harambe still. But the Copycat was a movie that I still want somebody to make that into a TV show because I think her off of Holly Hunter was amazing. I'm trying to think of one of my favorite memes or GIFs, man, I'm old, is there, it's just a one line that says, is anybody else named Sigourney or is it just her? And you know exactly who they're talking about.
But good question. It's like, you're right.
There's only one Sigourney in the world.
There's only one. And I think that she's really funny. Like even her and Ghostbusters. I'm like, she's hilarious. She's hilarious when that ghost possesses her and she's in her apartment. I'm like, she's funny, a talented actress.
For sure.
But in this movie, pass.
Yeah. I mean, the Academy has a pretty long history of ignoring comedies, ignoring science fiction. Galaxy Quest did not have a shot. So I'm glad that we were able to talk about it. And I'm glad you're like, no, we're going to talk about it. We're going to leave it here. But
at least it was brought into the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll talk about, so one person I like for her subtlety that we're talking about is Diane Lane. And and I never saw this movie until this episode of A Walk on the Moon. And I can tell you also, I think one of the things that I hate in movies and in life in general is infidelity, which this movie is rife with. It's about a woman and we just took Meryl Streep's nomination away for Bridges of Madison County, which is a similar thing. But in Bridges of Madison County, Meryl Streep's like, ooh, Clint Eastwood showed up on my doorstep for a weekend. And in A Walk on the Moon, it's Viggo Mortensen showing up, you know, and you're kind of like, I can understand this one a little bit more because man's going to leave the hobbits. But Lane's performance is about the small betrayals of self that women make to keep things together. And when Pearl finally breaks free, you feel the weight of it. You feel when she's confessing and she's just sitting there and in my mind, she's just rubbing the crown of her head into the back of the wall, wanting to be anywhere else. Like I was like, this is a performance. And so I feel like out of what I was going to bring with my 5, I was like, one, I've always liked Diane Lane. I think she flies really under the radar. She burst on the scene, I think, with Unfaithful, but she's always been around with like Under the Tuscan Sun.
Yes.
In movies of that ilk. So I just wanted to talk about her again. It might be a crush. It could be a crush. I don't know.
You know, I really did like her in this movie. You know, she's a very complicated character, but like I have a lot of empathy for her. Like it's especially like right off the top. And she's like, her daughter is getting older. Her daughter's like 17 and she's almost the same age I was when I got pregnant and I got married. And it's just like, I feel like that what locks me into like, oh, so you're just at that point in your life now where you're realizing like, man, my whole life is not my whole life, but a good chunk of it has passed by and I don't know who the fuck I am. Like,
yeah.
And so it's like, no, I'm able to hold a lot of space for her. And it's like, it's like her husband is not like a bad guy. You know, he's just trying to provide for his family. He's just working and like they're maybe not in the same place and they're missing each other. But I appreciated how like no one is necessarily a villain in this movie. Like I have empathy for everybody. And I'm just like, damn girl, Pearl, just get free. But the ending, I was kind of like, left me unsatisfied. I wanted more. It was just kind of like, oh, that's it? I feel like you didn't solve any problem, or at least
No, they turned on the radio.
Yeah, they turned on the radio, and that was it. That was it. So it did leave me just like wanting more. But again, that's not on Diane. That's not her.
Yeah, I like how you said a performance of subtleties, because this just felt so lived in. Like, it truly like held my attention for the full film, and I felt like I just got to watch normal people like truly figure out all of the tensions in their decisions and their desires. Like, her actually confronting her husband when he's just like, I just want to know like who it is. I just want to know how this happened. And like, he does have like his like meltdown for a second, but also he's just like, could we not have talked to each other? Like, was there really a point? And the way that she is like just standing here trying to respond, but like can't and doesn't know what to say. I was like, oh, she's monologuing behind that closed mouth right there. And so, yeah, I'm like, talk about range. This felt like a good bit for somebody to like bite into. And I thought Diane kind of killed it.
Yeah.
Not kind of, she did.
Yeah.
She ate.
She ate.
You brought up like the ending feeling unsatisfactory. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I watched maybe 3 or 4 films in the last 3 years that deal with the day we landed on the moon. And I was like, this day must have been big for all y'all, but like nowadays I can't
imagine a TV
I can't
event.
relate. Right. Yeah. Like I feel like even if we landed on Mars, I'd be like, sweet, I still can't afford my bills. So like,
exactly. Yeah. We're at their vacation home, like I did have that thought like, oh, wow, once upon a time, your husband could be a TV repairman and I could go off in the summer and vacation and like, we're not worried about bills or anything like that. Like, I'm just living my summer life. Mm-hmm. What a time. Like, yeah, in today's time, it's like, what do you mean? I got bills to pay. Like, the earth is hot. Okay. Like, I got bigger things on my mind.
And I feel like there's also people on Earth who were having that same issue, like that. For sure. When we talked about like the Summer of Soul documentary, and they're just like interviewing people in the crowd who are like, "So how y'all feel about the moon landing today?" And they're like, "Who gives a fuck about what the moon? Like, I can't eat. Like, I'm just glad to be outside listening to music for free."
Exactly. Inner City was like, I do not care.
Well, I think it was the opening scene of like the newest Indiana Jones. It was like, it's Moon Day. And I was like, oh, this is where we're starting. I'm all for this.
Yeah. What is this? Why are they pushing this on us right now?
That's a good question.
Let's ask Katy Perry.
Gail.
But I still wouldn't lie. If somebody gave me 15 seconds of space, I'd take it.
I'm a pass.
Yeah, I get, it's like the submarine that went under the water. And like they all just imploded. I'd be that asshole on that like ship. And then you're a joke to, like, well, that's why you don't go to space.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna pass on both of these things.
I'm like, that is how I would prefer to go. I choose death by black hole. Just let me disperse into a different dimension, actually.
See, I've seen Interstellar and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go into a black hole.
Fair.
Yeah.
Whose pick was Christina Ricci for Sleepy Hollow?
It was because I picked a lot of things I wanted to see. And so honestly, Christina Ricci, though, the first half of the film would have had you fooled that she was not going to be important. And then the second half, it all starts to come together. And so I'm like, it's that midpoint of the movie where she starts to like ask questions of like, how much do you actually know? Like, we know we let Johnny Depp come into this town and think that he could just like do some science stuff, but there's actually some shit that we've already been running for a while, and he's just like interrupting the process. So I guess she became intriguing to me in a way that if I were to rewatch this again, I'd be curious of like how subtle she probably was giving me in the beginning that I just didn't pick up on. But I'm glad to have gone on that journey with her. I don't know if it's beating Diane or Meryl, even though right now Diane is above Meryl for me. But she was cool. I did enjoy her.
I'm glad you put on this because I don't think I revisited this movie since the theater, because obviously I'm much older than both of you. But no, I saw it in the theater and I was like, oh, sweet, the Headless Horseman movie. And this movie is not that, No. It almost kind of feels like M. Night's The Village, right? With kind of like how the twisting and turning it was. And we were at that time really hyped on Tim Burton. We were just getting to, I think Johnny Depp the girls liked him, but the guys didn't like him until Jack Sparrow. So
that long.
I feel like, I mean,
Makes sense.
people are raging at the radio right now, but I feel like there was the Edward Scissorhands. He was like the weird guy, right?
Yes.
He was like the
I
weird
was like,
guy
he's a
with the cool
brooding pretty
bangs.
boy.
Yeah. It was like Jared Leto in My So Cold Life, right? Like,
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I mean, I don't know what girls see in these guys that don't look like they shower, but
Like dirty.
It's the bad boy aesthetic. They're like, oh my gosh, he doesn't care about anything.
Anything. Not even bathing.
No. Treat me like trash, please.
and then Christina Ricci, here's my question for you, Sunflower. How old is she in this movie, or how old is she supposed to be?
I also had that question.
Good question. Realistically, probably 14. Probably. I'm sure she is a small child, like post-puberty, but like in that prepubescent, let's like sexualize children type of way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what, like, my note here is like, it's like a gothic sensuality here that is making me
uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I'm a mandatory reporter, and now I don't know how to feel about Johnny Depp's eyes on her. You know, like one of those things.
Yes, definitely. I hated the hungry eyes that she was getting, and I think too because it was also kind of reminding me of her role in the Casper movie. So I was like, leave her alone. Like, but I think that was also like part of it too. Again, like Meryl, I think Christina Ricci is like a phenomenal actress. I think she is great, but I don't know. It's like in this film, like she wasn't wowing me. Like I was like, you know, you did a good job, girl. But also, like, she wasn't really a lead either.
I don't know how I feel about Tim Burton and his females in his movies.
Yeah.
Like, and when we were dissecting Christina Ricci, I was like, Winona Ryder and Beetlejuice and, you know, and Winona Ryder and Edward Scissorhands. Like, it seems like he wants to make the coolest male character he can. Mm-hmm. And then here's a female. Like, I like the fact that she's not just a damsel in distress. Like, Christina Ricci in this movie she's calculating and she feels strong in a way that is more modern than like where this tale is set. Mm-hmm. But in the same instance, I feel like that's Christina Ricci.
Yes.
Doing whatever she could, you know, like within the parameters of Tim Burton. Because even like Helen Bonham Carter is probably one of his strongest actresses, but she was also his wife, you know, so I
now
think
ex-wife.
Got away with more. Yeah. Which probably because she was too strong. I'm just going to throw that out.
I'm like, no, she's a great actress. Yeah.
I do remember this period of us finding out that Tim Burton also doesn't think Black people belong in his movies. So I'm sure he has some skewed views. I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah. No.
I know nothing about this. Tell me more.
Oh, when people ask him, like, why aren't there ever Black people in your movies? He's just like, it's not my aesthetic. It's like, okay, heard. But
don't want to see it. He don't want to imagine worlds where we exist. And so
his worlds are so like washed out, you know, and like kind of devoid of color. I think he's just like, I
just remember that happening, and it was like all these Black people using like the Princess Bride, just like the blue makeup filters, and they're like, so you're missing this intention. You don't think I belong in this world?
Hey.
That's crazy. Well, let's stop talking about him then.
Goodbye, Tim Burton.
While we were talking about, I mean, here's another Tim Burton actress is Winona Ryder for Girl Interrupted. And this was kind of like a last throw in for me because when you talk about Girl Interrupted, you think about Angelina Jolie.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which fair enough. I rewatched the film and I was like, damn, I can't take my eyes off of her. Another person that I think I'm going to develop a whole episode around for season 7 that I think does not get any credit, Brittany Murphy.
Yes.
Love Brittany Murphy.
Jesus Christ. We did not appreciate Brittany Murphy enough when she was around.
Did not.
But Winona in this film is not bad.
Well, I might have to debate you on that one.
Okay.
Homegirl was not giving me anything throughout this whole performance, especially just like somebody in psychology school right now. I was judging hard on all of these like diagnosis performances. And so I'm just like, BPD, girl, I'm not seeing it. I also understand why you were confused about your own diagnosis. Also, because the way this whole system is set up, they are failing you entirely, not allowing you to understand what help you need, what is happening. Like, her character was set up to fail.
It was the 60s. They were like, girl, shut up. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Smoke a cigarette.
Smoke a cig and keep it moving. Yeah.
But also she just even her facials were just so flat. Throughout the whole movie, when she would cry, I'm just like, girl, stand up, please. Just please.
I find something very endearing about Winona's characters, like acting in general. I do think that she plays like the same type of character in everything she's in. I feel like this movie is the same character in Beetlejuice, is the same character in The Crucible, is the same character in Stranger Things. Like, I feel like this is all the same character, but I feel like I still have like a fondness for Winona. Yeah, the world was kind of mean to her for a little bit for stealing, which is like, sometimes you're a little klepto. It's okay. But I'm like,
just Sunflower, do you disagree with that statement?
It's just like, you little klepto. Like,
she wasn't hurting anybody. I mean,
sometimes I understand people need to steal, but just to steal.
For the thrill of it, I was like, she wasn't hurting anybody, especially in Hollywood when there are some predators out there. I'm like, she was just a little klepto. But I'm like, yeah, I was like, in this movie, I was just like, Winona was just giving me Winona. And so Angelina Jolie had all my attention because I'm like, Lisa, girl, oh my gosh. So yeah, I was just like, I wouldn't give Winona an award for this.
I would give it to Angelina, though. I would give it to Angelina for sure.
And she won.
Deserved.
Well, look at that.
Well, all right. Fuck that pick then. Okay, so.
Glad that we talked about
it. Who else?
I was like, I had Cecelia Roth in All About My Mother, which I think she knocked it out the park. I was like, Cecelia had me. I was crying. I was like, wow, this is so much loss, but at the same time, so much healing. I was really impressed. I don't know what happened to Cecelia Roth because this movie came out in 1999, but she should have been in more things.
She should have been. I agree. I thought she did wonderful. This was not a movie that was on my radar as well, but the plot was super, super interesting. I felt like super invested in all these characters and the emotional journeys that they were all going through. And Homegirl held it down, like in so many ways that I'm just like, she was so brave. She was so strong everywhere that she was going, that I truly felt for her character as this like woman who's just like trying to hold this whole family together and take care of the people around her. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I'd never even heard about this movie, right? And then when I got it, it wasn't streaming anywhere. I got it from my local library. It came with the director's full 9 film catalog or something like that. To which, after I saw All About My Mother, I was like, all right, I'm going to have to dive in and talk to her. Some of these other films that were somewhere on my periphery. But just so the audience knows, and the plot line is, in All About My Mother, Manuela, a nurse, experiences a devastating loss when her teenage son, Esteban, dies in a car accident. Grieving and searching for closure, she travels to Barcelona to reconnect with Lola, Esteban's estranged father, who is now a transgender woman, and to search for the boy's father. So at first I was like, I have always had this, I guess, blind spot for performances that also have subtitles, because I'm like, I'm reading the bottom. I don't know necessarily what's going on in the top 5/6 of the screen, but this one transcended that. Like, her performance in this, I was like, oh, damn, Imani, like, good. Throwing this out of left field because this is the last film on the list. Yeah, the warmth and the strength, the open-mindedness of this film coming out in 1999.
Right.
Was crazy. There was, she plays, when I'm talking about Best Actress nominations and performances, I want range. She gives you every emotion in this movie.
Yes.
She's making every decision. Like, she has substance, she has character, and it all feels rooted in like a lived-in experience. I was like, man, I'm digging this pick a lot.
For sure. I found this movie first year of grad school when we went to the Academy Museum. They had a Pedro Almanzar exhibit going on. And I'd never heard of him. They had a bunch of screens just playing, like silently, just playing all of his films. And this was just one of them that was playing. And I was like, huh. All of them looked crazy. I was like, whoa. But when like last semester of grad school, when we got to pick out like our each list, I was like, oh, like, let me just pick a random Pedro movie. And like, again, I was so stunned at how progressive it is in depicting like trans people and trans women, that this is not about them being trans at all. This is just about a woman grieving her son, looking for the father of her son, while also like, you have Penelope Cruz, and this was like her big role that like introduced us to Penelope Cruz, who's like playing this nun, this pregnant nun with AIDS. It's like, oh my God, there's so much going on. But it's all done so well. And I was just amazed. Every single performance in that movie, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Every single performance, everyone did wonderful. Amazing.
You kind of just picked this one out of the hat. For the listeners that don't know, Imani and I went to the same Masters of Screenwriting program at Stevens College. Shout out the 2025 cohort. But this one was just a random pick from this director based off of...
Yes, it was just a random pick from this director. And what a wonderful pick it was. So when it was 1999, I was like, oh, let me throw this one in there. Let me throw this one in there.
The good thing is, I think the Academy is getting better at nominating with subtitles. They were trash back in the day, which well written about. But even last year, I'm Still Here, that actress was nominated in her name.
Oh, yeah. She was like Argentinian or Brazilian. Yes. And it was like her mom. There was like some crazy, like historical, like her mom like played a role and was the first person to be nominated. And then she won. It was something like that. There was some history making thing going on between her and her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was, her name is Fernanda Torres.
It
was an okay movie.
All right. Yeah.
Speaking of another okay movie, let's talk Blair Witch Project.
So before you dive in, I'm excited to talk about this.
Okay.
I have told people we're going to talk about it, and they all reacted negatively. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, no way. And I was like, hopefully we could talk about it longer than we did the, who did you shit on? Winona Ryder. Hopefully you like Heather Donahue more than you like Winona Ryder's performance, because I love Heather Donahue in Blair Witch Project.
Yes. I had also never seen this movie before. So this is my first time watching Blair Witch Project. But I knew like the conceit. Like I knew it was found footage and they was in some forest getting tormented by, I assumed, a witch. What surprised me, and I also knew that like when it came out that like people didn't know if it was real or not. And so after watching it, I see like there were moments and I was like, oh my gosh, what do you mean this isn't like a real person crying in the forest, stressed out, lost, because there's some weird shit going on. And I don't know if it's because I'm so used to like social media now and like influencers and people like playing up for the camera and like reality TV, but there was like something so genuine and like real about her performance. And I was just like, wow. Even when she's behind the camera and we just hear her voice, I'm just like, wow.
I will say, I feel like the amount of behind the camera is what made me go, okay, versus like, I'm here with you, because I don't do spooky. So I definitely started watching this one like 8 a.m. So that way I could be prepared. And I just surprised that they didn't spook me the whole time. Like I felt like I was just like waiting for the tension to come in, and maybe it was me trying to like hype myself up where I'm just like, don't be scared. You know what to look out for when scary things come, and the scary thing just never came. So I feel like probably like the best moment is definitely like that last camera turn on herself where she's like, I feel like I'm scared to even blink. Like, and that is like where I felt the most like palpable fear that's like coursing through their body. Even like after homie Michael, I'm pretty sure, who was like making these like flirty comments as he's like staring at her, and then Jeff disappears, and I'm like, now I fear for her safety. But Yeah, yeah. I feel excited by the format and the concept. I just wish there was like more there to like actually bring hairs up on the back of my neck.
Yes. It could never happen again, the Blair Witch Project. So that's one of those things where I think hindsight is 2020. It's 24 karat gold. That looking back, we could go, wow, this film is amazing for how they did it, what they did, what everybody brought to it. How do you award something like this, right? Like, because it's all improv. There's no lines. There's no script. Okay. So is that something that you can award best improv act? You know, like,
yeah,
they've never done it before. So I feel like that got shot. A problem also is everybody thought she died in real life. And so like there was, she has a story where like she was at I think a premiere party and somebody was like, do you want to meet the actress? And they're like, what are you talking about? She's dead. And they're like, no. This is Heather Donahue. And like the person was meeting her and being like, that's not her. Like, I just watched her die. And like was not able to like separate the movie and the real life story. And the real life story, like the other thing that I'm like, I would like her name to be acknowledged in acting races is the fact that she was herself scared. Like, not because they did anything. I mean, they did behind the scenes. We'll get into it. But she showed up to the audition with a knife because she's like, I'm going to go talk to these two guys. They seem kind of sketchy. I don't know. So like she like hid a knife because she was worried about her own safety. And even when you're like, so this is what the movie is. You're going to go camping in the woods with these two guys. She was like, I don't know if I'm safe. You know,
I see.
The filmmakers they gave them the cameras, they would give them the film, and then they would disappear, and they would give them a map that said like, go to this place and you will get to know the next plot point. And so they would get there, and then it was like, all right, so Mike, you throw out the map, right? Like you lose the map. And so like then they would have that fight. That was like the improv fight of like losing the fight or losing the map. Heather didn't get along with a guy named Jeff. Jeff was supposed to be the lead. Jeff was supposed to be in the corner at the end. And because they weren't getting along so much, Jeff got to the next plot point and it said, wake up in the middle of the night and run away. And he was like, sweet, I want to go to a concert. So he was fine dying in the film in that right. And so then it was her and Mike because they actually got along. And so like the whole thing was like improv and like created by the filmmakers. But the filmmakers also would feed them a little bit less at every plot point to make them even more ornery with each other. Yeah. Stressed and like angry and like at each other's throats. And like, so that's the manipulation where you're like, that's not right.
I see.
You know?
No, but fascinating.
Yeah. But like Heather went through this whole scientific process, right? She delivers, I think her staring right into the camera with snot dripping out of her nose is iconic. Horror iconography. That's a word. Okay.
Yes.
And she creates all of this and has no career afterwards because nobody can separate her from her role.
Wow.
And so it's kind of like, so it's like, why? And so then, what is this? 26 years later, when I'm telling people, I think this is a great performance, and like, no way, man. I'm like, explain yourself. It's just not because it's horror. You know, like what about this doesn't make it a great performance? And I was hoping maybe you guys had some insight because the people I talked to on the street were like, just crossing arms and huffing away.
You know, I do think probably they just counted a lot because like of the behind the camera-ness of it all. But I'm like, still, you hear that fear in her voice. You hear that, I mean, in the beginning, you hear that like when they're interviewing everybody and it's like, tell me about this. And then when we get to the point where no, she is actually terrified. And again, like that scene when she's just like leaning back, crying, because they lost the map. I'm just like, no, I think she was maybe because it just seems so real and people are like, she's not really acting. But I'm like, no, she's putting on a performance. But it sounds like that one movie, Sunny, that symbio psychotaxoplasm where like the director was like not giving them really any answers. And so it's like creating all this tension on set and like, it's kind of giving that. And that was like made in what, like the 70s?
I think so.
So interesting. I did not know all of that, but, I would not discount Heather Donahue, and she should have had a career after this film, because I'm like, no, homegirl was acting. She was scared.
Yeah. And like, there's something you just brought up, the interview scene, which I forget about, but I think interviewing and seeming natural is one of the hardest things to do. And even I think Cate Blanchett is on the Rushmore of actresses. And the beginning of Tar, she is being interviewed.
Yeah.
And I think the interview is doing a better job than Cate Blanchett is in that scene. I was like, oh, I feel like you're acting here, and you're not being
anticipating.
Natural. Yeah. Yes.
No, I agree.
I would agree with you, Imani. I'm sure it's the behind the camera that is doing it for why it's probably not being pushed to the front, because she feels totally believable. I would have thought this was somebody's homework assignment, and towards the end, I am questioning who put the film together.
Yeah, yes. Cause I always hearing that people thought this film was real. It was just, when I was a teenager, that's when those Paranormal Activity movies were coming out. So it was just that's like someone saying like, I thought Paranormal Activity was real. And it's like, what are you talking about? And so that's kind of what I was thinking going into it. And then, okay, Sonny, they got you. But
because I didn't know about the Blair Witch Project ahead of time. So that being my introduction, yes, I was also like, I don't want to go see no spooky CCTV footage. No.
But it's like, no, after seeing it, I'm like, no, like it did give like real found footage. Like, also Cloverfield, that was also another like found footage movie where it's like, of course this is not real. So yeah, I'm like, no, Heather was giving it.
Oh,
I do question the ethics of like manipulating actors into
of course,
certain performances, because I know they even do that on TV shows sometimes too, where they don't want to like spoil or have things like get out in the end, so they just don't tell people or switch scripts around. But damn, to truly just like put somebody out in the woods and then say figure it out while you disappear, I too would freak out.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a Meryl Streep episode, but Meryl's, I think, first award-winning performance or second was, I'm backtracking on all that, but one of her most liked performances is Kramer v. Kramer. And during one of her heartfelt scenes, Dustin Hoffman leaned forward and whispered in her ear her dead husband's name, and like got the raw emotion, and it was like, what the hell? Like,
that's wild.
The crazy things that you hear on set that you're like, that wouldn't even fly on the streets. Yeah. Like, why are you doing that at work?
Yeah.
Like Spike Lee also with, was it School Days? There's like this whole colorist tension between the movie. And it's like during filming, he set up the dark skinned actors with terrible conditions and the light skinned actors with so much better dressing rooms. And so I think there's like a fight that breaks out
on set. Yeah.
And
but it's part of the film.
Yep. But I'm like, that was real.
Yeah.
And they just said, keep
creating hostility. Yeah. Watch out for these directors.
I guess. And
carry your knife and your pepper spray into the woods with these random filmmakers. That makes sense.
And if you Google Heather Donahue now, it says she's retired. Like her last film was 2008. She only did like 5 films after this. They used her likeness in 2016, and she has changed her name. Was almost at the end of her life because she didn't want to be alive anymore. Has relocated to Freedom, Maine, became sober, and is now just trying to live her life. But like,
well, shout out to Heather Donahue.
Right. It's like the reaction of this movie is what destroyed her career, not the movie itself.
Not the movie itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's still getting negative reaction from grumpy old assholes on the street. So I don't understand.
Yeah.
Have you seen the 2016 version?
No, I mean, they did the sequel, and the sequel wasn't found footage. It was like a movie about finding the real Blair Witch because of archival footage of the found footage film. It was
okay.
It was one of those like Hollywood things where you're like, oh, you thought you were creative. You thought you had something here.
Interesting.
Did you?
I had started to by accident, and then realized this was not it. So I only watched 4 minutes.
Well, this brings us to only one last film, is Being John Malkovich, which going through all the awards and the award shows, everybody talked about Catherine Keener. And as I was watching it, I was like, damn, Cameron Diaz is bringing it to this film.
Yeah.
And Cameron Diaz, I think, is if we're talking about actresses that got a bad rap, I understand. I mean, with Cameron Diaz, I could kind of understand because she joined the scene as a blonde bombshell in like The Mask. And she was playing these roles. Beautiful woman. So I can see leaning into that. With the Charlie's Angels, and The Sweetest Thing was another film that like wouldn't leave my sister's DVD player. And then she did Gangs of New York, and she was like, I'm going to be a serious dramatic actress. And people like railed on her. Daniel Day-Lewis was good in that film.
Yeah.
But
nobody else.
Leo was trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if Martin Scorsese really knows how to direct women. I'm going to say it right now. Like, I don't think Martin Scorsese has done a great film since Goodfellas. I'm on record for that. If you want.
I love The Departed, so I'm going to disagree with you.
We took that one away in 2007.
That's crazy.
Okay, but watch what it was based off of.
What was it based off of?
It was based off a Japanese film.
Oh, so yeah, I'm sure they got it. For sure.
It was just my problem with Departed, and I'm alone in this. I don't like Mark Wahlberg in it.
I like him in that movie.
I also love Wolf of Wall Street. I will say that.
I like Wolf of Wall Street. I wouldn't say it's a great film. I think it was entertaining.
Like my first rated R film that I could watch legally. I worked at the movie theaters already, so I was seeing them already. But that one had me.
Infernal Affairs is the movie that it was based off of.
Okay.
But we took away not the best picture, but we took away the directing for that because that was also the year of Pan's Labyrinth. And it was like the Mexican directors were coming up, and they were bringing Children of Men was another one that year. So it was kind of like, did Marty do something with his directing in The Departed that outshone the gothic fantasy of Pan's Labyrinth?
No.
Okay.
No. But
we're not here to shit on Martin Scorsese.
We're not.
Talk about John Malkovich. But yeah, so Catherine Keener, to me, she's praised by a lot of people. I think she just plays it kind of one note in a way. She's being kind of a brat to him at the beginning, and she just wants what she wants all the way through the film. Where Cameron Diaz is completely dressed down. She is at her wit's end. She's playing like just on the brink of sanity, I would say.
Yes.
I think it's the best she's ever been. And the fact that she is also playing like a woman that is trapped in the wrong body.
Yes.
She plays it in a way that you're devastated for, because instead of like All About My Mother, she doesn't have the vocabulary for it. She doesn't have the understanding of it. So you're just watching this woman trapped. And I think even moving forward in the movie, and then even moving forward from the movie, everybody is focused on everything else going in it. And Cameron Diaz is again left down in the cold with her frizzy hair and bathrobe. So I really liked Cameron Diaz in this film.
Me too. I didn't realize it was Cameron Diaz at first, because that's how much she had me. Like, I'm used to her being kind of ditzy, but I'm always used to her being like the cute ditzy girl. Again, she was just very endearing. This sense of like, her discovering this about herself by being inside of John Malkovich while also being with this man who doesn't really care about her at all. But also like this woman who doesn't really care about her at all either. It's like we see her in the beginning, like her taking care of this chimp. And I feel like she needed someone to take care of her. Like she was taking care of the chimp, you know? But yeah, I was surprised. And I would, say her performance was bypasses Catherine Keener for sure.
Yeah, just to even add to that, I felt like it was going to come down between like the scenes where the two of them were in play together, that I was like, all right, now let me see who's really given between the two of them. And it was always Cameron Diaz. Like it felt like specifically even when I'm thinking of the moment where Catherine is on the phone with Cameron Diaz and she's telling her like, oh, Craig can be in the body forever. I think I'm just going to rock with it. I think I'm just going to keep moving forward. And I'm just like, Cameron Diaz is like heartbroken on the other side. Like she finally felt like she had like an escape. And there's just like so much pleading, and like the amount of nonchalantness that was coming from Catherine, and she just didn't take it anywhere for the rest of the film. Like, and even like when she came back to Cameron Diaz and they're having their reuniting moment, like there was still no change from when she broke up with her on the phone to like getting back with her. So I was just like, you took no arc here at all. Even climbing through all of this portal, I think Cameron had it. she should have been nominated over this one.
Yeah, because I was even confused. I was like, when she comes back, when Maxine comes back through that portal, and she's like, "But the baby, it's yours." It's like,
Yeah.
I was just like, why do you care all of a sudden, girl? Like, you weren't bothered by this before. I don't know. I was like, Cameron was just a little baby. I was like, someone take care of her.
I know, I felt so bad. I thought she was about to betray her in that moment, and it
I did
didn't
too.
happen. They just get to live happily ever after. So good for y'all. But I don't know how we got here.
And Sunflower, you brought up the word pleading, which I was like, oh yes, and yearning. I think yearning was the one that I was missing. Yearning is what I felt like Cameron Diaz was giving like the entire way.
Yeah.
And she's another one where like the industry was like, oh, fuck you. And so she was like, well, I'm retiring. I'm going to save
I know.
So
and I'm like, she was funny too. I'm like, she's a great comedic actress.
I love Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
I think she's actually in something with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, she just came back. She's like, I'm coming out.
Good for her.
So shout out to Cameron.
Demi was like, I'm coming out. And we're like, well, let's all come back.
Yes.
Let's do it. That's the time.
All right. Anything else we want to talk about before we give our rankings?
I can think of.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, I will say for the most part, I think everyone did a great job in these movies.
Except for Winona Ryder. Fuck you.
Yeah, I was like, Winona, I still have notes, but I'm going to let her rock.
I think it's just my fondness. My fondness for Winona is what's holding me there with her.
I'm just like, all the direction went to Angelina Jolie. Everybody else got what they needed to, and Winona was supporting the rest of the story.
She was supporting the rest of the story. Again, this was the Lisa show, and I was more concerned. Once Lisa showed up, I was like, oh.
This Lisa story.
It's the Lisa story.
And the other, Elizabeth Moss, as the little Burnva girl was.
Yes.
Also, because let's not give Winona any points for being racist to Whoopi Goldberg as well. That felt like it came out of fucking nowhere.
That felt like a betrayal. I was like, and then she apologized later. I was like, no, girl.
You was thinking about that for too long.
You was thinking about that for the moment you heard that when you got here, you kept that in your pocket. Kept that in your pocket. So it was unforgivable. I agree. Shout out to Whoopi. Whoopi did great. I love Whoopi Goldberg. She's also a great actress who doesn't get her credit. Like, she's a wonderful actress.
That's what pissed me off the most when Channing Tatum's like, I'm going to remake Ghost and we're going to make it. He was like, we're going to take away some of the problematic stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Channing Tatum? Who gave you keys to anything?
Who?
Yeah. I was like, that's, they gave her the award for Ghost, I think, because they fucked her on The Color Purple.
Color Purple, yes. Everybody, I was like, because they all gave it to Meryl Streep. They gave it to Out of Africa. They gave it to the movie about white people in Africa instead of the black people in Color Purple.
And that's what we talked about on the show when we took it away. We're like,
no, thank you.
It was just like, whoa.
And that's what I talked about in the grad program. I was like, why are we watching Out of Africa? This movie is hot garbage. I
watched Out of Africa simply because I knew that it won everything over The Color Purple. And I said, what is this movie?
How'd you feel about that?
I was like, hey, yo. Absolutely not. Again, like, I know people are like, wow, Meryl Streep's accents. And I was just like, that doesn't make up for the rest of the movie, y'all. Oh my gosh. And another movie about infidelity.
Yeah. And the weird thing about Out of Africa was Robert Redford was so horrible with his accent. They're like, just don't do it. And
don't do it. Yeah. He's just Robert Redford. And that's it.
just a dude with his hands in his pockets. I'm like,
yeah.
So, all right. We discussed our picks. It could be we ignore all the work we did. It could be. It really doesn't sound like we're going to go back and give it to Meryl, but it could be. We're going to list our top 5 performances that we discussed. I'm going to give them point totals. Your number 5 will earn 1 point. Your number 1 will earn 5 points. And then at the end, like I always say, it's not necessarily who you want, but it's who you can stomach. If you're like, I'm fine with that nomination going. And between the 3 of us, hopefully that is what happens. All right. We ready? Lisa, number 5.
Meryl.
Let's go first. Meryl for Sunflower.
Okay, right. My number 5, I gave it to Heather.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And number 5 is for Meryl as well.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. Number 4, Sunflower.
I gave 4 to Heather. I'm like, it's not for me.
4, I'm giving to Meryl.
Okay.
All right. 4, I gave to Cameron Diaz.
Oh.
Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3, I said Diane. Diane Lake on Walk on the Moon.
3, I said Cameron.
All right. And my 3 was Heather.
We know no agreement so far. None. All right.
You know, me and Matt agree Meryl is a good number 5.
Okay.
Yep. All right. There is one name that we have not said yet, so I feel like it's going to be a high point getter. Our number 2, worth 4 points.
Cecelia Roth.
Cecelia, there it is.
2, I gave to Diane.
And my 2 is Diane Lane as well.
She was there, and I moved her down.
Mine's all scribbles. And then number 1, worth 5, Sunflower.
Cameron Diaz.
Oh, nice.
All right. Okay.
That's why I'm like, I surprised myself here.
My number 1 is Cecelia.
Cecelia, and so is mine.
Wow. Who's taking home the Academy Award? Or is this the nomination? Who's taking home the nomination?
Yeah, this is just the nomination.
Yeah.
The person that took home the Academy Award was Hilary Swank for Boys Don't Cry.
She deserved. She ate. She deserved. I have no notes. I'm like, Boys Don't Cry. The first time I watched that, I was a ball I was just, oh my gosh. Heartbreaking story.
Is it problematic today for you?
You know, I watched it in like 2011, so I don't know. I'm sure there are some problematic parts, but maybe not. Like, it might not be. I don't know.
I haven't seen it at all.
No? I'd be curious because I'm not of the world, right? Like, I'm cisgendered, heterosexual, white man. My opinion does not fucking count on it whatsoever. But I don't see like the problematic point of it because I think Hilary Swank nailed it and I think she respected it to the point. It's based off a true story, which I can't imagine really. And if you read the Wikipedia, because the Wikipedia is interesting because I think, what's her name? Chloe Sevigny, right? Does a really good job in the movie. The actress or the person that she's portraying hated how she represent, like, and was like, that didn't happen. I didn't do this. And it was like everything that she did to make herself seem like a pretty decent person in the movie. The real person was like, I didn't do that. And I was like, what?
So you weren't
doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah. You're admitting that you messed up. Interesting. Yeah. You know, in today's time, you should find a trans man to play this role for sure. But I'm just like, great performance. I think Hilary Swank did do a very good job of it. And I think the film as a whole, I'm like, it's a heartbreaking.
I think I've seen clips of it now that I'm looking it up, but I still haven't watched the full thing. So we'll have to get back to y'all.
It's not a fun watch.
No, it's not. Like I said, you're going to cry hard.
You know, that is part of my queer history. I will accept.
And it's, can never remember his name. Mr. Maggie Gyllenhaal is...
Jake?
No.
Oh, Mr. Maggie Gyllenhaal. I don't know that man's name.
Right?
Yeah.
Maggie Gyllenhaal's husband.
Yes.
Who's a great actor. I always love him in every role that he does. He's a scumbag in the movie.
Yeah.
So while I'm tabulating, I mean, it was a pretty easy tabulation, but while I'm tabulating, let's talk about your guys' podcast, Fade to Black. It talks mainly about African-American filmmaking, which I love because I'm not educated in it. It's one of the 3 podcasts that I listen to because you guys introduce me to movies that I mean, people can be detectives and be like, oh, this is the day that recording it. Because I'm going to say today dropped Watermelon Man. And I was like, I've never heard about this before. And I was like, now it's got to be on my queue. I was happy listening to it because I'm sitting there being like, it sounds a little bit like Get Out. It sounds like a little bit. And David, where's David? We didn't invite David.
Oh, yes. No, David is a very busy man who is very hard to schedule.
Yes.
I was like, oh, I hope we didn't like leave him in the lurch, but he brought up Get Out. I was like, okay, cool. So tell us about Fade to Black podcast. Tell us about like the favorite movies that you discuss, what you got coming up.
Ooh, the favorite movies.
That's hard. I mean,
hard.
the Fade to Black podcast. So yes, me and Sunflower, our other co-host David Dunnington, Dunnington. If you listen to the podcast, you'll understand why I spelled it out. We just like discuss what is Black film and what does that mean. So if it's Black directed, Black written, or an all Black cast, is like what qualifies it as a Black film, and what does that mean to each and every one of us? So we've talked about films. One of my favorite ones that we did was like Lemon, which has like really no Black people in it except for Nia Long and her family reunion scene, but it's written and directed, it's co-written by a Black woman and directed by a Black woman. So it's still a Black film. And like with that in mind, it's like, oh no, this really is a Black film, because it is like this woman who is like dating a white man, and it's like you may not see that story in one way, but in another way it's like, oh, we're seeing her experience of this. But also like something like Into the Spider-Verse, you know, which is an animated movie what is not made by like all Black people, but still features like a Black protagonist. Like, is that a Black film? We say yes.
Yeah. I would add that like this came about as like a companion piece to the Fade to Black Film Festival, which is like our short Black film fest that like just features Black filmmakers and gets them paid. So I'm like, everybody gets money just for participating. And so we kind of just like wanted to keep conversations around Black cinema going. Loved Lemon. Dry Long So is another one that really stands out for me. It was just beautiful filmmaking. Symbiotic Psychotaxiplasm was also a really beautiful one to think about, just like, again, what it means to be a Black director, like trying to move these group of white people through the park and being stopped by cops and also being questioned by your crew in film, but also that's what they want you to think. And also Watermelon Man was a wonderful surprise, because that one is written by a white man. They hired a Black man to direct it, and to see, I think, where like Black filmmakers kind of can change the course of a studio or history in the process of just like being on the set, because they wanted it to be a white man in blackface, and Melvin Van Peebles was like, absolutely not. I will hire a Black man and put him in whiteface. And the studio didn't want to hire like didn't know what type of makeup artist to create this type of work. So they hired their first Black person to come create this full like cast of white skin to go on this man. And they show off like every inch of it. Because it was just like such beautiful work. So I'm just glad to see the impact that we have, or even like Gabrielle Union and Bring It On, where it's like they teased you to think that the Clovers were going to be so much more involved in that film than they actually were. Yeah. And she took it from like being some Blaxploitation dialogue of just like, meow, I'm a get 'em girl with scratching with my claws, to like, we are the Clovers, we're proud Black women, and this is actually how we perform. So yeah, it's great to bring up things that we've never heard before, and also just like some classics, like Brown Sugar was one that I had grown up with, and to bring it to my homies, and they're all like, well, this actually is a bad movie. And I'm like, but I'm glad we watched it.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you discover that as well. Or like movies like Ganja and Hess, which are like, we're seeing like a resurgence of after being lost for so long. It's like, especially like a movie like Sinners, it's like Ganja and Hess is all up and through that movie. So yeah, it's a fun ride. It's a fun ride.
So this episode probably won't air until like September, October. Do you have anything on the slate coming out before then?
September will be Beyonce.
Yes.
Oh.
We'll be talking about the 2023 Renaissance, which is not released anywhere, but you know, if you know, you know.
You know, you know.
So here we are.
It was in theaters, in IMAX, a documentary about a tour. But you will see. You'll have to listen to the episode.
Absolutely. So.
Check out Fade to Black.
Please.
There it is. Perfect plug. All right. So this is what we came up with. Our last place was Meryl with 4 points. Meryl Streep for Music of the Heart. Right after that, Heather Donahue gets some flowers.
Yes.
For her role in Blair Witch Project. Cameron Diaz comes in third with a strong showing for Sunflower B. Rose.
Decent.
And then we have Diane Lane for A Walk on the Moon in second place, leaving us with the one that came in the final inning, Cecelia Roth for All About My Mother.
Well
check it out. Check out that movie if you haven't. Check it out. I'm like, Cecelia Roth, girl, you did your big one with that one.
And it was fate too, because it all came together for us to even like hear about that movie, for you to just get it out of the etherverse.
If I had never been to the Academy Museum, who knows when I would have watched that movie.
The Academy, and you're on Academy podcast right now.
That's what I'm saying. Look at that.
Blowing my mind. Cecelia Roth, written in the stars.
Yes.
Stay in school, y'all.
Stay in school. Get your education. You learn
Also,
so much.
Just go reach out to your libraries, any archival service that you have. Real media is important.
Oh, yes.
True statement. All right. Any final thoughts?
Thank you for having us on today.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, Cameron Diaz, we should keep booking her. Let's bring Cameron Diaz back.
Bring her back.
And probably not Heather. I was like, Heather seems like she's decided she doesn't
Heather
want to be a
needs to
part
heal.
of this life anymore.
Yes. But sending lots of love to Heather.
Yes.
All right, and there you have it. Meryl Streep's nomination for Music of the Heart has officially been revoked. In its place, we've chosen to honor Cecelia Roth for a performance that truly earned a spot in the 1999 Best Actress lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Huge thanks to my amazing guests, Sunflower B. Rose and Imani Johnson from the Faded Black podcast. If you're not already listening to them, fix that immediately. They're essential voices in the conversation around Black cinema and representation. For this episode, we watched, we debated, we fixed it. This has been a take on the Academy where we don't rewrite history, we just give it a better casting. And until next time, I'm Matthew Sprosty. Hang out with us on Instagram at A Take on the Academy or argue with us on Reddit at r/TakeOnTheAcademy. So now, dear listener, after all this, you just have to watch two performances. Meryl Streep in Music of the Heart and Cecelia Roth in All About My Mother. Watch both, then ask yourself, did Oscar reward greatness or just its favorite name?
Exactly.
We can tell you.
Yeah, we just did.
Who said Meryl gets it all every time she takes the call? We're just here to have a ball, no rules tonight. She's got statues on her shelf, golden glories need no help. But tonight we crown ourselves, let's steal that light. We're taking it back, oh yes we are. Not sorry, Meryl, we've come this far. You've got the Oscars, the Emmys, the stage, but this one's ours. We've turned the page.